So good morning, another founder in car, and today we will discuss how you can keep firm in a demanding world. So demanding world could be that it's pushing you down, or it's very demanding, as the word says, that it takes a lot of stress and strain to just move forward. The important thing is that you understand why things are happening. So for example, that now everything is getting worse and worse. For me, I know this is prophetized in the Bible, and also I know that this will not last. So I know it will get better, because God, and I believe in God, believes the belief that God gives us, this will not be will not last, but just will be a temporary thing, will help you through. And God also promises us, and I've also believed that He will make it better, and in the end it even becomes a paradise. So if you have that, and even that period, which can be years and years of suffering, so to say, or strain, whatever you want to call it, still limited in scope, because you can see the wider picture. And that brings me also to the second point. Don't think that you're the only one that is dealing with these problems, because you're not. I'm driving now the Suzuki Sport Hybrid. If you try to fit which of the cars I'm driving currently, but because it is not only affecting you, it's a global or at least a regional thing. And oftentimes, many people on this beautiful blue globe are suffering similar fate, strains, have similar hurdles to take. And if you see it like that, you don't take everything personal, and you're not going to weep in a corner and say, okay, this is all happening to me, why is it happening to me? Why? You already know, because as I mentioned. And the second thing is, if you see the bigger picture, you also don't take this personal. You see that everyone needs to navigate this troublesome time. And by doing so, instead of just all going into the ego mode, and yeah, me, and only me, and then securing you, will go into a mode of how to survive and how to cope with this as humanity. And because almost the entirety of humanity is suffering, and of course some people are extremely rich and they suffer little to none, but even rich people, they might suffer. And why is that? You might think, okay, they have everything what they need, they don't have this economic strain. And you might be right, but they might have a different strains, that they in their family someone becomes ill, or they cannot cope with the richness that they have, and they have developed an expensive drug habit, or whatever. They can also have relationship troubles. They might not be able to mitigate between the important things in life, such as, for example, family, and they put work over family all the time. Or they worry enormously because they are afraid that the things that they have and other people are lacking or will be taken away from them. So also rich people, it's such a beautiful sunrise. Try to get a glimpse of that. So also very rich people are suffering. So by knowing that, you will see the problem, but the problem is not the world. The problem is not your world. It's a speck on your world, and it might be a very irritating speck, but it's not only hitting you. It's not that your entire world is darkness. And that's an important thing. If you see things in perspective, you will understand. If you are suffering very hard, but you know that someone in a different third world country is not even able to feed himself with one meal or one drink that day, you put things into perspective. And you know what you are experiencing is very troublesome, but you also know that you're not the only one. And there are many things that could happen to you that are perhaps not happening to you. And you can be grateful that you don't have those things happening to you at that moment. Another thing is that you need to cherish the things that are not going bad. So for example, now I'm driving to my work. I'm sitting in a nice car, in my opinion. It's just a junior hothead, but I like it and I really enjoy it, and I enjoy the ride. And I do so. And by actively thinking that through, you will be fed again instead of only drained. Things taken away from you in your mental state, you will also put mental resistance, joy, good memories back into your mind. So those are 3 things I already mentioned. So to summarize, know why things are happening, and for me, believing that God, his name is Jehovah or Yahweh, will take care of this and will make everything better. So he knows our suffering and he will help us, and it will not last, it will become better. Second thing is perspective, the bigger picture, that you're not the only one. Third thing would be take joy even from little things in life. It could be your family, it could be your pet that is abusing you, a nice sunset or sunrise as I just showed you, or a nice flower, or whatever, a nice ride, enjoying the things that do go well and really taking notion of them. And the fourth thing is know where your roots are. And this can be the good childhood memories that you have that lay the foundation of the person that you are now. So if things are going wrong, you can visualize those things from your youth. You can drain the negativity and also get strength from your roots up. The same thing with your ancestors, your granddad, grandmother, if you have the pleasure of knowing them, your father, your mother, those persons that played a role, a big role. You remember what they did and think about their strength, and you feel that strength also then coming back into you. You are the product of them, also the product of your own being, of course, and you can also get strength from that. But an additional source of strength is thinking about your ancestors. I'm not saying that you should worship them, because that's wrong in my opinion. And why is it wrong? Because God tells us that it's wrong. So it's not about what you are thinking or what I am thinking, but what God, who created us, thinks and says to us. So we should not worship other things than Him, so only God. So those are 4 things that are very, very important. A 5th thing that is important is if you do something, do it right. So either you don't do it or you do it, but when you do it right. Don't stop when there is resistance, just finish it complete. Be a complete finisher. Bring home the bacon. Move. If you move with purpose. You move and you go there. You don't move to just be in emotion. You move to get from one point to the other point. You get things done. Done. Not partially done. Done. Finished. Finito. Next. And that's good, because in that way you don't get overclouded in your head, and you know once you start something you will make a success out of it. If you can help it, it will become a success. Even if you can't help it, you will try to make it a success. And that's a good way, a good attitude. Another thing is, things that molded you will also make you more resilient, more anti-fragile. And why is that? even the good things I mentioned. Bring back the good memories as I mentioned. Also absorb them into your mind. Think about your past, your roots. Can be experience that you had, but also your ancestors, but also the bad things in life can bring resistance, can form your attitude towards things. And I'm not there to keep remembering you about the bad things, but what I try to convey is this: bad things that you conquered, you're a conqueror. You dealt with that bad situation and you succeeded. Odds were stacked against you, but you succeeded. And therefore, because you succeeded then, you have a big chance of succeeding the next time, and the next time, and the next time. And every time that you succeed, you will become better, stronger, harder. It's like a sword. When they make a sword, they also temper the steel. And the tempering of the steel is there to make the steel harder, more resistant. So what they do is they hammer the steel, they heat the steel, so extreme heat, extreme cold, in water to cool it again, and over and over and over again. But the resulting steel is far stronger than untreated steel. So the molecules of steel are hammered closer and closer, stronger and stronger. And also, if you know that, if you would go to battle like in the old days, and you have the choice of a sword that you don't know anything about, but it looks shiny, or your sword that is proven and never failed you and has been with you for 3 or 4 extremely heavy battles. What would you choose? I know what I would. So even if that proven sword is a little bit more damaged, dinged, or what have you, or might not be as sharp, I would sharpen that one instead of the shiny one that I don't know anything about. So either you test the shiny thing and make sure that it's at least as strong as your trusted one, or you go with your trusted one. And I would recommend the latter. Because also, knowing that the sword has brought you through all those battles, even though if it was as good as the other one, or similarly good, that's a good thing to start with. You also have all those memories then. And that's also in life. So those things can really help you out of a tight spot. If you have family, if you have friends that you can rely upon, that's also a good thing. You have a security net, people who love you, you feel the love, but also they might help you to cope with a different situation that you need to cope with. And oftentimes that can really help to make it extremely difficult if they are not there. And I know because I lost my father and mother, or make it doable. And it might still not be easy, but it does not need to be easy. If life gives you a big hurdle, this is also an opportunity. It's not only a hurdle, it's an opportunity to prove again and again what you're made of. And even if you're not made of that, you can become that. And why? Because you have attitude. You have this go-getter attitude. And you have belief. You don't only train from your own power source, you believe and stands firm in God. And God promise you, even if you don't, in periods that are extreme, and that are hard to come by or impossible to come by, He will make you come by. And why? One, He will give you the power to manage things, to overcome or endure things. Sometimes He can take away the hardship, or even if you die, and He promised you that if you're loyal to Him, He will resurrect you in a paradise. What is there to lose? There is things to lose now, but there are also a lot of things to gain in the future. And loyalty to Him will get you through. So those are some of the things that really might help you, and I share them with you. And do with it what you like. I'm not saying that it's the same for you. I just am telling you what works for me. And I am certain that a lot of these things that I mentioned will also work for you, if not all. Found a car? Out.